everyone. I'm Two-Faced Teller, but you can call me V, and this is Bird of Passage. Bird of Passage is a free night ride across Tokyo. By playing it, you will be granted access to the private conversations between a quirky passenger and the taxi drivers he will encounter en route. Listen carefully and help him find his path. I've been living here for a long time, but this doesn't mean that I know where I want. Oh my god. I've been living here for a long time, but this doesn't mean that I know where I want to go just yet. You from Tokyo? I doubt you would recognize the Tokyo I used to know. Okay. Tokyo was shattered a long time ago. Yeah, I am in a way. I come from a lost version of Tokyo. What do you mean lost? Literally, the city in which I was born is not on a map any longer. The version of Tokyo disappeared into a void. There are witnesses that can confirm this, or that version. I see. What kind of witnesses? Witnesses that have seen and experienced the devastation that took place. You mean survivors like you? Maybe, but they belong in a museum. I don't. You mean old things? They're no longer just things. They've been reshaped by history. Now they're artifacts. They carry a story. One witness is still alive, actually. The clocks that stopped working on that day. Artifacts such as a pair of glasses from that time. One witness is still alive, actually. Is it? It is. Can you keep a living witness in a museum? It's not in a museum. This one is a tree. A tree? What kind of tree? A resilient one. A tree you would find in any garden, really. Not just any tree, a moving tree. A resilient one. That tree has seen things. It has survived the Great Kanto earthquake. I deeply admire the resilience certain plants manifest. No matter what happens to them, they resist. What type of plants can do that? Well, ginkgo trees. Some of them survive the most lethal weapon man has ever created. They are called Hibakujukumoku. Question mark. Scientists were certain nothing could grow again in that area. Ginkgos proved them wrong. Seem to know a lot about ginkgos. If I'm even saying that right, question mark. Not nearly as much as I'd like. They're fascinating plants. I've spent almost a century studying them. Ginkgo has it written today, shouldn't even be its name, as it's written today, if you say so. It was misspelled. A German botanist romanized the original ideograph in Gingjo, and then misprinted it as Ginkgo. Ginkgo literally means silver apricots, and people often think it refers to the shape of its fruits. But technically, those are not fruits, they're seeds. Ginkgo seeds look like silver apricots. We can agree on that. It also goes by the name of a seed. I'm sorry if I'm boring you. It's just, those seeds are always on my mind. Shall I drive you to the nearest park? Would that help? Not really, but thank you for asking. My pleasure. So do you know where you want to go next? Not at the moment. Just pull over, please. Sure. Thank you. Have a nice night. You too. Goodbye. Bye. Damn, drop me off in the middle of nowhere? Oh my god. I will not be hit by a car. Look at me. Greetings. Thank you for stopping. Hello, sir. Let me ask you something. Before you ask me where I want to go, let me ask you something first. Sure. Good. Do you like plants? Do you mind if we chat a bit? Do you mind if we chat a bit while you drive me around? I'm sorry, sir, but this is a silent taxi. Oh, I see. Please drop me right here, right now. Is there anything else I can do for you? No, thank you, that's all. I'm afraid I don't do silent taxis. That's fine, sir. Goodbye. Goodbye. That's a taxi for me, personally. If I had a taxi, I'd plaster the word silent taxi on the side of the car because I need everyone to know I'm not talking to you. Unless I need to. Hello. Hello, sir. Welcome on board. Thank you. Where do you want to go, sir? Oh, right. It doesn't really matter. I could give you an address, but... I can give you an address. Thank you, that's all I need. But you wouldn't know where to find it. Huh? Sir, are you doubting my knowledge? I think I know this city well enough. Not at all, quite the contrary. I'm relying on you completely tonight. It's just that, you see, time has a bizarre way of affecting the structure of a city. That's for sure. Things move around, new buildings appear, old buildings disappear. One thing is knowing how to find an address. Another thing is knowing your city inside out. That's just one of the many reasons why I rely on taxi drivers to find my path. You know how to look into every nook and cranny. If you don't mind me asking, sir, why do you like taxi drivers so much? I still remember the first 6 taxis. They are spotless. I still remember. Remember. Oh, you mean the new hybrid models? No, I mean the first 6 taxis that ever had the privilege of riding the streets of Tokyo. Oh my god, you're gonna make me. Ippan Jokyoku Rokaku Jidosha. Question mark. That's how we called them back in the days. Motor vehicle for general passengers and travelers. However, as you can imagine, it was too long, too complex. So shortly after we started calling them just Takushi. Excuse me, what year are we talking about? Well, that's easy. It was 1912. 1912, of course. At the time I didn't have any need for a taxi, so I never had the pleasure of riding one of those 6. I remember them clearly though, as newspapers covered the event thoroughly. It was late July. I think my first taxi ride can be dated back to 1921. An early adopter, we say. Then everything changed. Well, it surely did. We're talking about a century ago. 11 years later, the earthquake hit. 11 years later, 1923? Are we talking about that earthquake? Indeed we are, that's my turning point. Nowadays, I can only make sense of my erratic wanderings if I'm riding a taxi at night. Only at night? Why is that? There's almost no traffic at night. Can't stand mornings anymore. Almost no traffic. There's almost no traffic at night, not that I'm in a rush or anything. The city is simply more peaceful. As a taxi driver, I can tell you that for sure. The traffic is more better at night, it's lighter. Also, people want to be driven all the way home, not just to a nearby destination. I guess it means more money for you? It does, but it's not just that. I love to exchange stories with my night passengers. They're always willing to share some. Like me. Exactly. Well, thank you for sharing your knowledge with me and driving me around. That's okay. Shall I pull over? Yes, please. Here you go. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Who are we? What are we? Hello. Hello, sir. Is this a silent taxi? No, sir. Good. Where shall I drive you? I'm not sure yet. I've been living here for a long time, but this doesn't mean that I know where I want to go just yet. Are you from Tokyo? I doubt you would recognize the Tokyo I used to know. Oh, are we starting off all over again? I doubt you would recognize the Tokyo I used to know. Yes, indeed, even if I doubt you would recognize the Tokyo. Oh, yes, indeed. Even if I doubt you would recognize the Tokyo I used to know. Do you live in the outskirts? I tend to roam the entire island. Lately, I've returned to explore the city. Parks and gardens are my favorite spots. I see. I've become obsessed with a few species of plants, spent hours looking at them, their colors, the shape of their leaves, the geometry of their branches. Oh, and why do you like these plants so much? Some plants are almost immortal. I feel connected to them. I deeply admire the resilience certain plants manifest. I like walking around. Some are immortal. Some plants are almost immortal. I feel connected to them. Why is that? When you don't have to worry about how much time you have left, everything slows down. I perceive time differently from you. I'm guessing a tree would too. At a certain point, I decided millenary trees could be the answer to my questions. I went on and visited one of them in Surugaoka Hachimangu. Did you find the answers you were looking for? Not exactly. I felt less lonely, though. I felt a connection, but I'm still here. What kind of connection? You see, these plants have lived through history in a way I did the same. They've seen a lot, haven't they? They have. For this reason, I look at them with different eyes. Different eye? I deeply admire the resilience certain plants manifest. No matter what happens to them, they resist. What type of plants can do that? Well, ginkgo trees. Some of them survive the most lethal weapons man have ever created. Leaves. They're called Habakujumoku. Certain scientists were certain nothing could grow again in that area. Seem to know a lot about ginkgos. Not nearly as much as I'd like. They're fascinating plants. Not as much as I'd like. What do you mean? I know their scientific name is ginkgo biloba, and that biloba describes the shape of the leaves. I know that the fleshy outer coat of their seeds has a strong smell. I know their bark has a corky texture, and I know the color of their leaves in every season of the year. And what I don't know is where to find my ginkgo seeds. Did you have some? I did. What happened to them? It's a long story. So, I don't want to impose. Listen, my car is at your disposal for as long as the night lasts. You're very kind. My story begins like this. I was in the garden holding some seeds in my hands. That's the last shard of my past I recall clearly. It's funny how I remember being alive thanks to the mundanity of my last actions, just another Saturday in a vast collection of Saturdays. Late autumn is the right season to plant your ginkgo seeds, not September, so I had to put them away, you see, store them in a dark place. Then the earth beneath my feet started trembling, fissures ripped the ground, everything crumbled. All of a sudden something hit me hard on the back of my head. Huh? What happened next? I fell on my knees facing the back of my garden, the seeds rolled away, and aftershock pushed me to the ground. I died shielding the seeds with my body. My very last thought was dedicated to them. Do you think they survived? Wait, this taxi driver just completely swept past the I died part. I really hope so. It would mean everything to me. Given the magnitude of the events that you've described to me tonight, I really don't know what to say. I know, you don't have to say anything. I mean, I don't want to sound tragic. I know what you're about to say, please stop. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to upset you, but you see, I meant please stop the car. Huh? Sure, here you go. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Dude, if I was that taxi driver, I think the rest of my night I would have been like, damn. I don't think anybody's gonna believe me when I talk about this. Greetings. Thank you for stopping. Hello, sir. Let me ask you something. Sure. Good. Do you like plants? I really do, sir, and I'd love to talk about them, but this is a silent taxi. Oh. Let me out right now. Can you please pull over? Of course, sir. I don't do silent taxis. That's fine, sir. Goodbye. Goodbye. You are no help to me. Leave. Hello. Hello, sir. Welcome on board. Thank you. Where do you want to go, sir? Oh, right. Doesn't really matter. It kinda does. I need to know your destination to choose a route. You're right. I'm sorry. That's okay. So where do you want to go, sir? Can we go back in time? Can we go back in time, please? I wish we could, sir. I'm sorry. I had to ask. That's no problem, sir. However, I'm curious now. Can I ask you something? Please, go ahead. If you could time travel, where would you go? That's a good question. Let me think. Take your time. Go back to Atami. Go back to 1923. I don't know what the first one was, but we did talk about 1923. 1923? Why? That year changed everything. How so? I remember it was the 1st September. People were preparing lunch. As the earthquake struck, the stoves were on. The shockwaves were so powerful that the water pipes burst, fires spread fast through the city, and there was no water to extinguish them. I don't remember much else, I'm sorry. It's all confused and blurred. It's okay, don't worry. Is there anything else I can do for you tonight? Yes, please. Go ahead. Actually, never mind. Huh? I thought I wanted to ask you to bring me somewhere, but I guess I'm fine like this. You sure? Yes. So do you want me to pull over? Thank you. Here you go. Goodbye. Goodbye. We're gonna have to go back. We have to go and ask about Atami. Hello. Hello, sir. Is this a silent taxi? No, sir. Good. Where shall I drive you? I'm not sure yet. Been living here for a long time, but that doesn't mean I know where to go yet. You from Tokyo? Tokyo was shattered a long time ago. Shattered? It crumbled to pieces. It was gone in a blink. How did you survive? I didn't. I see. Why do I keep getting the one where there's a ghost in the back of my taxi? I died with and within my city. Huh? A mighty blue sky welcomed our morning. It was perfect weather for a Saturday. When was it? It was the 1st of September, 1923. That's the day I died, together with thousands of other people. I wasn't alone by then. I wasn't alone then? I am now. How is this even possible? I'm stuck between two worlds. It must have something to do with. I believe the real question should be another one. I think it must have to do with the seeds? It must have something to do with the last moments before I died. I've spent decades trying to understand how to interpret those last memories. In the end, I think the seeds I was holding in my hands are the key. What kind of seeds? They're ginkgo seeds. Oh, do you like ginkgo trees? They're fascinating plants. There are fossils of an ancient version of a ginkgo leaf that date back 270 million years. This means that ginkgo trees were already here when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Fascinating. They're tall, strong, majestic trees, I'd say. At the same time, they possess an inner delicacy. There's nothing more delightful than their little fan-shaped leaves, especially when they turn from green to yellow. I never thought about that. They are indeed very tall trees. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for listening to me. That's all for tonight. I don't want to bother you with my stories any longer. Can you please pull over? It's no bother at all. Here you go. Goodbye. Bye. Greetings, thank you for stopping. Hello, sir. Well, I think I'm done listening to my own thoughts. Shall I pull over, sir? Yes, please. Goodbye. Goodbye. Considering we've lived for so long, we must have hella money. Hello. Hello, sir. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Where do you want to go, sir? All right. Just drive, please. Rough night, sir? One of many, unfortunately. I'm sorry to hear that, sir. My nights are endless. Do you suffer from insomnia, sir? I don't need to sleep at all. Why do you ask? I used to sleep so well. I don't sleep at all. Actually, I don't need to sleep at all. I linger suspended in the liminal space of your moving taxi. I'm a wanderer. I have no fixed roots. I have no place to call home. I exist within the boundaries of my own tale. I have tailored my routine accordingly, night after night. I tell and retell my story to different taxi drivers so that I won't forget why my existence is still on hiatus. I am a bird of passage that desperately tried to migrate between two worlds and got stuck in one. Oh, I see. Do you feel like telling me your story? Would that help? You are very kind, thank you. And yes, it would definitely help. Well, what are you waiting for? I'm all ears. My story begins like this. I was in the garden holding some seeds in my hands. So far, so good. It's funny how I remember being alive thanks to the mundanity of my last actions. That's pretty normal, I guess. It was just another Saturday in a vast collection of Saturdays. And what about the seeds? Right, the seeds. You see, late autumn is the right season to plant your ginkgo seeds. September is not the right month. I had to put them away, store them in a dark place. So those were ginkgo seeds. Please go on. And then the earth beneath my feet started trembling, fissures ripped the ground, everything crumbled. All of a sudden something hit me hard on the back of my head. Huh, it's terrible. I fell on my knees, facing the back of my garden, and aftershock pushed me to the ground. And the seeds? They rolled away. I dedicated my very last thought to them, that's for sure. I died shielding them with my body. Now that's interesting. Why do you find it interesting? Because from what you just told me, it looks like the protagonists of your story have switched roles. You were the one holding the seeds, and now you are the one held in this limbo by the seeds. You died protecting them. I guess you have to find out what happened next. You're right. That's the interesting bit. You should focus on understanding the role of the seeds in all this, I think. Very well then. I must focus on the seeds. At least that's my advice. It sounds reasonable. Now I need to think alone. Do you want me to pull over? Yes, please. You have been very helpful tonight, thank you. I'm always happy to help, sir. Goodbye. Goodbye. Hello. Hello, sir. Is this a silent taxi? No, sir. Good. Where shall I drive you? I'm not sure yet. I've been living here for a long time, but that doesn't mean I know where to go. You from Tokyo? Let's see. Shattered. It was almost noon. People were preparing lunch. As the earthquake struck, the stoves were on. Fire spread fast. I see. It's a tragic story. How do you cope with such memories? I don't. I stick to a strict routine. I've dedicated myself to studying plants. I've become obsessed with a few species of plants. I spent hours looking at them. Did I already say that? Oh shoot. Why do you like these plants so much? I like walking around the gardens. Nature is the only thing that keeps changing while remaining exactly identical with itself. I find comfort in looking at the very same trees season after season. You will always be able to predict the shape and color of the leaves, the direction of the branches, texture of bark, so nothing changes, you say. What else do you like about the gardens? the people you may encounter. Our gardens are such a marvelous place to spend time contemplating nature. They attract people from all around the world. Tourists? Over the last decades, I've visited many gardens many times. I can tell you this, some people are enchanted by the utter beauty of nature, and when they finally have to leave, the memory of the gardens will remain with them forever. Sure. Once I met a man, he wasn't from here, so we couldn't talk. His name was Palomar. Stunned by the sharp and luminous yellow of the ginkgo leaves, he stared at the gentle dance they make as they fall from the highest branches. I didn't want to disturb him, so we stood together in silence as if hypnotized by the slow tempo of the leaves' descent. Years later, the very same ginkgo leaves finally stopped their free fall. Thanks to him, they landed in a world that exists only in words. If you want to find them, you'll have to wait for a winter's night, but this is another story. Looking forward to it. Maybe another time. It's getting late now. Thank you for the ride. You're welcome. Shall I stop here? Yes, please. Here you go. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you for stopping. Hello, sir. I'm pretty sure I did all of the talking stuff. Well, thank you. I enjoyed my moment of silence. Shall I pull over? Yes, please. Goodbye. Goodbye. I think the taxi changed. Last time there was like a green little circle thingy. It wasn't the Nihon taxi. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Where do you want to go, sir? All right. Which one was the one that sent me to Tommy? I could give you the address. That's all I need, but you wouldn't be able to find it. Are you doubting my knowledge? Not at all, quite the contrary. That's for sure. Things move around. It's the reason why I rely on taxi drivers. Why do you like taxi drivers so much? They're spotless. Not a stain, never a trail of smell, nothing worn out. White lace, the baseline interiors, and white gloves on your hands. Taxis to me are an immaculate place. Thank you. Your words repay me of every effort, of all the dawns spent cleaning the rims, brushing the dirt away, and polishing the car. My pleasure, it's true. Your car is speckless. Since you have seen so many, what else do you like about taxis? The politeness of the drivers. Oh! It doesn't matter how weird and disjointed my story may sound. I've never felt judged on a taxi, not a single time. That's part of our duty, sir, especially during the night. I've gathered so many stories and confessions I could write a book about them. So, not just me, you say? No, sir. Even if I must admit your story is particularly intriguing. What about the other stories you have listened to? It really depends. Sometimes people just need an audience or to be reassured, you know. Other times they just want attention and maybe to chat a bit. It takes the pressure off, I guess. Indeed it does. What's your story, sir? Are you curious? I am. Good. I need your curiosity to solve my mystery. My story begins like this. I was in the garden holding my seeds in my hands. So far, so good. It's funny how I remember being alive thanks to the mundanity of my last actions. It was another Saturday in a vast collection of Saturdays. Right, the seeds. It was late autumn, not the right time. Or no, September, not the right time. It's late autumn that it is. I had to put them away, store them in a dark place. So they were ginkgo seeds. Then the earth beneath my feet crumbled. All of a sudden something hit me. It's terrible. I fell on my knees, facing the back of my garden, and the seeds, they rolled away. I died shielding them with my body. What are you implying? The fact that those ginkgo seeds look interesting to me. Why is that? Because ginkgos are known to be strong trees. Oh, I've studied them long enough. They are quite resilient. Do you have any examples? In particular, that ginkgo has survived the earthquake. The same earthquake that killed you? The very same earthquake, yes. It leveled everything to the ground, but the tree stood. It burned, it survived. See? What else do you remember of that day? It was the 1st of September and many people were preparing lunch. As the earthquake struck the stoves around, the shock waves were so powerful the water pipes burst, fires spread fast. I don't remember much else, I'm sorry, it's all confused and blurred. That's okay, don't worry. Is there anything else I can do for you tonight? Now that you know what happened exactly, what do you think? Huh? Me? Yes, do you think that's even possible? Do you think my ginkgo seeds might have survived? Well, tonight you've told me that these plants are quite resistant. One of them has even survived the same earthquake that killed you. It did. So if you asked me, I'd say yes, it is possible. More than that, I believe we will find your ginkgo tree. Its roots planted deeply where you once fell on your knees, its branches vigorously reaching for the sky. After so many years and struggles, you will finally stand beneath your ginkgo with myriads of tiny yellow fan-shaped leaves falling upon you like a silent rain. Do you really believe that? I do. Nobody ever believed my story. Nobody ever took the time to really listen to me. Nobody ever nurtured the seeds in my tale until you did tonight, and it has made all the difference. You have finally given me closure. For this, I cannot thank you enough. You're welcome. As a taxi driver, it is my duty to bring you to your destination. I think we're here at last. Indeed we are. After all these years, I'm here again. You're home. I am. Goodbye. Goodbye. Now I'm getting like slightly emotional. The last taxi driver is the best taxi driver.